Oh, thank you for WrestleMania 4 and 5, by the way. Thank you very much. But if you're going to sit in that chair, if you're going to do the Tyrus experience, you have to do it right because you are the people's champion, Mr.
Oh,
Trump.
wow.
And on behalf of all the people of America,
I like that. Now I'm really that's a good one.
that's the man who makes all the professional ones.
Beautiful, yeah.
There you go.
The crowd. No, but this is the real one. This is a real deal.
No, I'm going to give a fake belt to the next president.
We're more used to that. That's good. Thank you, Tyrus.
You are the people's champion. Oh, thank you for WrestleMania.
The people's champion. Good morning, my friends. Hope everyone is doing well. We have an exciting show lined up today. Of course, the Donald, the Teflon Don, as I've started to call him, has what did he have? A bomb threat, or they found bombs, or they didn't find bombs. I'm not sure exactly which, depending on what report you read at what time. They had a bomb threat yesterday. He still did his event, and then now coming out, we have the Havana syndrome type symptoms that are being reported by people that are going to the Trump rallies. Now, these are people that sat behind him. I'm going to play that clip here in a second. I actually reposted it with a comment from Alex Jones, the great Alex Jones. But I'll tell you what, guys, this this Havana type syndrome type. Here's the report. Let me just add this to my screen. Oh, I appear to be frozen. Okay, I appear to be frozen. Okay, I'm back. Never a dull moment here on the Impact Money Show. I'm going to play the clip of the Havana syndrome that people are, or the report of it, people are reporting getting this coming to the Trump rallies. Look at this.
Supporters of former President Donald Trump that were allowed to sit behind his stage at his Tucson rally last week tell the News 4 Tucson investigators they left with mysterious injuries to their eyes. News 4 Tucson's chief investigative reporter Course Nylander is live outside the Tucson Music Hall downtown. Course, what are we learning about their situation?
Yeah, well, Monica, this is where thousands of people came out to hear former President Donald Trump speak last week. There was a group of 48 people allowed to sit on stage behind Trump throughout the event. They were split into two groups on each side of the stage. One side seemed to walk away without any issues, but multiple people seated near each other on the other side tell me that they had to go to the emergency room after they left the event. Here tonight, for the first time, the Trump campaign is confirming that they're investigating this situation.
No
taxes on Social Security benefits for our seniors.
More than 2,000 people filled up the Tucson Music Hall Thursday to hear Donald Trump's first speech in Tucson this campaign as Election Day nears. Some of his biggest supporters were allowed to sit behind him on stage, supporters like Myra Rodriguez, a former director of Planned Parenthood with a notable shift to being pro-life. In 2016, she sat behind presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on stage at an event. Now she supports Donald Trump. She enjoyed the rally, but once she left, everything changed.
As soon as we left and I stepped outside, I started feeling like my eyes were burning.
At first, she thought it might be allergies. She lives near Phoenix. By the time she got home, it was so bad she decided to go to the emergency room.
The emergency room staff keeps saying, from the triage nurse to the PA, and are you sure you don't get spray anything? Your symptoms look like you were sprayed something.
The News 4 Tucson investigators spoke to her the morning after the rally, Friday last week. That morning, she was nearly blind.
I can't see anything. When I try to open my eyes, it's like a white cloud cover. It hurts. It hurts a lot to open my eyes. I have this cold cloth that I put on and I take off all the time. But this is horrible.
She says the doctors weren't able to determine what exactly caused it. Her initial thought of allergies went out the window when she heard from several others seated next to her at the rally that also ended up seeking medical attention with the same symptoms.
Kept getting worse and worse. My eyes started watering a lot. My nose started running. Then I started feeling my face get really flushed, and then my neck felt like it was on fire. And it just progressed from there.
This Tucson woman, who doesn't want to be identified, was seated in the same area behind Trump with her brother. Both walked away with eye injuries and sought medical attention.
I was all focused on my eyes. I mean, my eyes were red like hell, I mean, it's like, it just like unbearable. You just couldn't, I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it.
Whatever caused it seems to be isolated to the group seated on stage right. Former Congressional District 6 candidate Kathleen Wynne was seated on the opposite side of the stage and says she and everyone she knows seated near her walked away without any issues.
We hope that there's no nefarious actors in this and that this is not a strategic hit for those that are supporting Donald Trump.
Myra reported her injuries to the Trump campaign and says she was told it was being investigated. Myra feels it's crucial for people to be made aware of what happened and what could have caused her injuries.
Obviously, what I would like is an investigation, right? That this does not get away with it.
I want to be very clear. We do not know at this point if a person caused any of this or what exactly the cause could be. We can only speculate at this point, but that apparently is what the Trump campaign is trying to get to the bottom to at this point. Less than an hour ago, the Trump campaign senior advisor Danielle Alvarez sent us a statement reading, quote, "The Trump campaign has been collecting information. We remain committed to the countless patriots that attend our high-energy, high-impact rallies across the country." I did also speak with the United States Secret Service. They tell me they were not informed of any of this and only learned about it when I called them, but they said there was no known threat to President Trump during his event here in Tucson last week. We'll update you as we get more information on this situation. We're live from downtown Tucson tonight. Goers Snylander, News 4 Tucson.
Goers, thank you for that update.
Pretty crazy. They just said that the Secret Service didn't know about it. I'll tell you this, guys. I know that it is Trump's job to always, think the Secret Service and think these agencies and everything else, but I talk about it all the time. These agencies don't work for us. They don't work for the government. They work for the central bank. The whole government actually works for the central bank. You can see what Speaker Mike Johnson tried to push through yesterday, and that abomination of a spending bill. It is an insult. It is an insult to your intelligence to try and pass a spending bill with the SAVE Act attached to it under the guise that SAVE Act has any chance of getting through on that funding continuing resolution CR. It is an insult to our intelligence. It has no chance. It won't happen. That's not the way stuff in Washington works. It doesn't work that way here. The SAVE Act was actually already passed in the House. If they want to use it as leverage, Speaker Johnson says, hey, look, guys, if you guys want this funding CR passed, then the Senate needs to pass the SAVE Act, and the president needs to sign it. Otherwise, we're not going to play ball on your funding CR. And you guys are going to end up shutting the government down because you won't pass the SAVE Act that just stops illegal aliens from voting. Now, the truth is the SAVE Act is all a bunch of baloney. The last thing we need is more legislation. We have plenty of laws, okay, but that's a whole nother story. We have all the laws that we need. Everybody knows that illegals are not supposed to be voting in the elections, right? I mean, this is like, everybody knows that. What, you know what I mean? Like, okay, guys. So anyway, that's that. Pretty interesting day. Of course, nice move up in the markets last night. Hopefully you guys were able to play on that. A little bit about this interest rate cut, that it can take it out of the box for everybody just a little bit. So when you have things like this, when they do money printing, when they do interest rate cuts, and the interest rates should have been lower anyway. It's ridiculous that we had to pay that they were so high. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the effect is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Guys like myself, other people that are in the markets and in other assets get more money, and the poor, their money that they have is worth less. And so it has a detrimental effect overall, but it has an immediate good effect. And so they've been doing this, and the money in circulation has been going up and up and up and up and up the whole time. So they're minting a lot of money right now. I can actually check and see if we have a U.S. Treasury. You can look at how much money is printed so far, 2024. You can look and see how much money they've printed this year, minted, printed, however you want to put it. Well, those aren't correct numbers. Anyway, last year they minted 6.1 trillion, I believe. And that's why I was saying taxes have to go up. So 6.1 trillion is the money that was printed out of the Treasury. And then you had, of course, we had, I think, 34 trillion in the debt that we owed the national bank, or the central banking cartel, these guys, the Federal Reserve, just for printing the money for us. We didn't do any, you know what I mean? They didn't actually even they didn't even really lend us the money. It's a big scam. It's a big scam. It's a big scam, and you are not in on it. Anyway, Bank of Japan is meeting tomorrow. All eyes kind of on the Bank of Japan. They're not expected to make another tightening. They're not expected to make another interest rate increase. But if they did, that would certainly throw a wrench in the matter. But more than likely, we'll have a good meeting. And then that will be that'll be that, right? I have a recorded impact money market report from our main man, Matthew Dixon. So let me go ahead and I will play that now.
Good morning, Bruce, and good morning to all the viewers of the Impact Money Show. So we had yesterday's now FOMC meeting, and it didn't fail to disappoint. I was expecting 25 basis points. We got 50 basis points, which was actually in line with market expectations. And the market didn't react massively off the news initially, but as often happens, it takes a little bit of time for the dust to settle and to the realization to sink in that interest rates are much lower Then following the Fed meeting, they had the obviously a discussion, the Q&A session after, and the statement showed that the Fed have turned quite dovish. And so this has really provided a massive boost to the market as expected. We anticipated this, didn't we? We saw the big corrective structure sideways, choppy movement sideways in much of the risk asset market across the board. And we expected to break higher, and that's precisely what's happened. And we can see that here very clearly with Solana since the news last night. Not only was the news, did it react on the news, it also reacted according to our indications. So here we have quite clear hidden bullish divergence. Right at the bottom here, we had an ABC down from this move up, and we had hidden bullish divergence. So on the dot, price began to move higher, and we now have 4 good solid green candles, no overlap at all. This looks quite impulsive at the moment. So we've had various divergences along the way, which have signaled all the turns of Solana here, but also other crypto assets as well. But this one was ideal last night, telling us exactly when to jump in the market. And I actually went out on my X feed because, as you know, yesterday, I was favoring shorts in the market before the news. And then just before the news came out, I said, right, I'm now switching to long. So buy positions in the market. And I was rewarded accordingly. I've had a couple of nice trades since that, going long in the market. And that's precisely what's happened now. So a couple of good trades there, just based off the indicators and the news. As soon as it came out, we knew this was going to be pretty bullish for the market, even though short term, there was definitely some volatility there, wasn't there? So let's just have a look at the Fed, the CME Fed Watch tool. So we now have 49 days and a bit, almost 50 days until the next FOMC meeting. So what do we expect next time round? Well, quite interestingly, we obviously had 50 basis points cut yesterday, and there's actually a 31.9% chance of another 50 basis point cut, and a 68.1% chance of a 25 basis point cut. So it does look as though the Fed are very, very serious. They're seeing things that maybe we're not quite seeing. It was interesting last night. I was listening to the commentary from Chair Powell, Jerome Powell, and he was basically saying this is the beginning of a loosening cycle. This means he's basically telling us it's not a one and done cut. This is going to be a series of rate cuts, which are going to impact the American economy, the world economy, in fact, and also risk asset prices. And we've already seen that begin to happen. So he said that. He also said that he sees current monetary policy as being very restrictive, meaning they're going to ease that monetary policy. So he's telling us in more ways than one that there are more interest rate cuts to come. And as we said, this is going to be, certainly initially, it's going to be supportive, but it actually reinforces my belief that the American economy is slowing down dramatically and that we're actually in danger of recession. So they're seeing more data than we see. I noticed he commented on their estimation of inflation yesterday, and his estimate was that inflation is now very, very close to that 2% target. He actually mentioned 2.2%. So they're not just going off the figures that are announced, they're actually estimating the level of inflation. And as I know Bruce has said many times, there are a lot of indications that inflation, real inflation that people experience is much higher than that. But the Fed are telling us that there's virtually no inflation now, that we're virtually at target, and that they can now start to ease monetary policy in a cycle of rate cuts. That we can see here from the Fed, the CME Fed Watch tool, that there appears certainly to be more rate cuts to come. And the indication is that we're going to see another 2 rate cuts at the 2 final meetings this year. So if that's the case, it could be very supportive to risk assets. We'll just have to see what happens. But clearly the Fed is seeing probably something we're not really seeing ourselves. The job figures aren't that bad, and the inflation figures are still above target, and yet they're aggressively reducing rates now. So they're seeing something that maybe isn't apparent to all of us, that the economy is slowing quite dramatically, according to their view of things anyway. So quite interesting. It was an amazing meeting, really, in terms of the impact on the market. As I say, There's an immediate bounce the moment the rate cut was announced. Then it settled back a little bit as we waited for the commentary and the Q&A session to see what was going to happen. But it seemed very, very clear from that Q&A session that there is going to be more easing to come. So it's not had a massive effect. I mean, we did see, I'll start, I think, with dollar index, the DXY. We saw when the news came out, we got a sharp spike below this long-held support. We haven't managed at the moment to hold below it, but I do think that the dollar will be sinking back down below that level. We've, convincingly spiked below. A spike doesn't really mean anything, but I do think that it appears so deeply below that I think the dollar is probably set to weaken. And whilst it strengthened a little bit last night, not quite sure what that was based on, but it's begun to weaken again now. And we saw the dollar drop down to, where was it? Down to about 100 on the dollar index. It's currently 101. So I think we're probably going to see further weakness in the dollar. We saw oil, again, very little reaction there. I do think that if the economy is slowing, we're probably going to see lower oil prices, although we have seen a big escalation in the Middle East with all these devices going off in Lebanon and Israel saying this is a new phase of the war. So I don't know quite what will come of that. It's a bit worrying to have in the background. So I don't know what that will do. It would potentially spike oil prices, but according to the economy and demand, I think demand is probably going to diminish. So there's potentially downward pressure on oil. We just have to see what happens on the geopolitical front. With gold, we spiked to new all-time highs yesterday. We've been saying that over and over again, and I think we're probably going to get even more new all-time highs for gold. This, obviously, gold is the hedge against inflation. So if they are dropping rates dramatically, then inflation, inflation could potentially pick up. I mean, I heard last night, I was on a show last night, and I heard that there was a lot of discussion about potentially stagflation, basically where we have stagnant growth with inflation. So the fact they're dropping rates aggressively whilst inflation is still above target is a bit worrying because they're supposed to be tackling inflation. They've got two mandates, basically, stable prices and employment. Employment is slowing a bit now, and prices are still above target. So the Fed have got a real balancing act to try to navigate these two criteria that they need to manage to keep the economy stable. So that is gold. And as I say, I think there's new all-time highs to come on different timescales. Whatever timescale you look at, gold has higher and higher to go, I think. So this is telling us probably that there's still some uncertainty to come in the markets, because gold is not just a hedge against inflation, it's a hedge against uncertainty. Now, one, I was pleased to see Bitcoin, we were toying with that 60,000 level, which is a psychological level. Not sure quite how powerful it is psychologically because it hasn't really stuck by it below or above. At the moment, we're clearly above, by the way. We had a nice 5-wave move to the upside. I've relabeled it slightly. I think this is the correct wave count, where we basically got a wave 1 up, 2 down. You can see the 2 is a nice 3-wave move down, ABC down. Then we got a powerful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves for wave 3. Wave 4, we've got an ABC down, possibly for wave 4 here. And the interesting thing is, the 5th wave up, you often see divergence there. So we saw some very clear divergence there, basically where we got higher highs on price, lower highs on RSI. That is regular bearish divergence, and it gave us this retracement. Now, it wasn't such a deep retracement, and I think that's probably because, the news has been positive. We did get a retracement. It's clearly in 3 waves. You can see very clearly from the top, 1 wave down, wave up, and a further wave down. That's 3 waves. That's ABC. That is a correction. So we would expect from a correction 3 waves down, you expect impulsive move higher, and that's precisely what we have. So the next resistance overhead for Bitcoin to, needs to overcome is 65,000. That's the previous pivot here at these spike highs here. If it breaks 65, then I think next target is going to be all-time high, 73,000 and odd. So I think now the foundation is set with easing of monetary policy. There's going to be more money in the system. more money to allocate to risk assets. People won't want to hold dollar treasuries so much because interest rates are lower and coming lower again. So they want to go into assets which are going to perform, and risk assets are those assets, particularly cryptocurrency, because they tend to be risk assets on steroids effectively. So, it's like, Bitcoin, for example, is like NASDAQ, but leveraged NASDAQ. It's more volatile. So if you're looking for returns, if the market environment is good, then Bitcoin and some cryptos are a good choice to play that upside, to play the volatility on the upside. Clearly on the downside, you've got to be more cautious, but this is all about risk management, and we talk about that a lot on this show. So that was Bitcoin. We got a very, very nice break there because we were around the 59,000 level, and we're now at 62,000, above 62,000. Really, really nice performance there. On to my favorite asset. I say favorite, I've traded it a lot. I still trade it. I traded it 6, 7, 8 times yesterday, scalping. Even this morning, I've been trading to the upside with Solana. So again, we can see quite clearly here, I think from this move up, which was possibly a leading diagonal, where there is some overlap allowed in the leading diagonal. Then we got an A wave down, which itself was made up of 5 waves, 3 waves up for the B wave, then a C wave down. So A, B, C. So a nice correction, and then we got the impulse higher. Precisely, what we'd expect. Again, as I say, we got this really nice. First of all, we had here regular bullish divergence telling us the price move up. We could have looked for some other divergences telling us when the price is moving down, but then again, we got here hidden bullish divergence telling us price was going to rally to the upside. Precisely what happened, and we're going to probably have a bit of resistance around the 139.80 level, but looks as though we're going to probably blast straight through there. Solana is a very aggressive asset to the upside. When things are going well, Solana moves aggressively. So I'm confident, having seen that hidden bullish divergence, that we've got some good times ahead. And I've been saying this for some time. Next target for Solana really is this, well, the next immediate target is this local high here, pivot high of 162. So quite a lot higher there. But then beyond that, you've got $209. And then beyond that, you've got the all-time high of about $258. So these are all targets that are now in sight. As I expect, we're going to have a nice bull run, probably through October, I would imagine. So this is going to be a good time to be in the market and trading, I think. Just jumping around a few of the other assets, let's just have a look at the S&P 500. Again, that's actually spiked last night to all-time highs. Let's just double check on that. Yeah, we spiked a brand new all-time high, for, which again we've been saying this is coming anyway. We may get a bit of a pullback. We may even push a little bit higher first, but overall it's still bullish. We've got a really good bullish setup here for the S&P 500. And again, we've had all the divergences telling us exactly when the moves are going to take place. So here it was telling us of a sell here. Here it was telling us a buy from the bottom here. And we can look for other divergences that might be in play at the moment. In fact, I can just see off the top of my, just very quickly, there are some divergences in play that we should be looking at. So we had a bit of a divergence on a shorter term time frame here, which told us little ABC down move here. And then we moved up quite nicely last night. So that was a spike high last night. But then again, we appear to be moving impulsively again to the upside. So I think there's plenty more upside to come with the S&P 500. We can see just across the board, virtually everything is green at the moment. My old favorite there, Rollbit, RLB, up 2.8% today, continuing its upward move. Even some of the coins which are really out of favor at the moment are seeing some good gains on the day. So One Harmony seeing over 5.5% today gain, which is pretty amazing. Solana 3.36%. We've already mentioned that. XRP is one of the laggards a little bit at the moment, although even XRP managed to pull off a nice little bit of a recovery yesterday. So we were down at 56 cents. We're now 58 cents. So that's a nice sort of 4% move, somewhere around 4% move we saw on XRP since yesterday, since the news came out yesterday. So again, I'm still expecting probably, well, if the crypto market's going up and it's going to rally and we're going to see Bitcoin to new all-time highs in the next couple of months, and my belief is that we will see an all-time high for Bitcoin in the next 2 months, above 73,000, then we're going to see a lot of much higher for the rest of crypto. So whether it's alt season or not, I don't know, but I do know that Bitcoin and the rest, I still think Bitcoin will probably largely lead the way, but you might get the volatile ones like Solana, possibly even jumping ahead even more. Ethereum has been in the news a little bit because it's been a bit of a laggard, and we discussed that on a previous show, what's happening with Ethereum. But again, it's not immune to good news. So we got that good news out of the Fed yesterday, and we can see again that impulsive move to the upside there. Again, we had some on a different time frame than we see here, although I can easily readjust this. Let's see.
Okay, I found this on the web for lag, and we discussed that on a previous show. Check it out.
So we can see here that we got again some very good, just see this is regular bullish divergence on Ethereum. So again, this was the precise signal point here where we got a higher low on the RSI and a lower low on the price. That is regular bullish divergence, as I've actually got it written here, telling us of a reversal in price, and that's precisely what happened. Price reversed to the upside quite sharply. Again, we can look for other divergences on different time frames, or on the 4-hour time frame here, but it did tell us exactly where to buy in. Maybe not this spike here, we'd have missed that, but actually, I mean, when you measure divergences, you measure them from the solid candles, not from the solid candle body, not from the shadows or spikes or whatever you like to call them. You don't measure it from those. So this is the point you'd have considered buying. You'd have just looked on a shorter time frame then for a candle formation to see that this is bullish, and then you'd have jumped in. And if you jumped in around this level, around the 2,200-ish mark, currently 2,400, you're already up a good 10% on your trade. So you can now protect that trade and just watch it move to the upside, but be protected. If it did move to the downside for any reason whatsoever, you're protected and you can take a guaranteed profit on there. Book of memes, again, one of my favorites, more volatile assets, but it's a great performer, up 2.7% today. So as I say, overall, I think it's a great day. I think we're going to get some good movement in the days, weeks, couple of months ahead at least, I think, unless we get any geopolitical eruptions. Apart from that, I think things are looking really, really good. So relatively short show just to wrap up what happened yesterday. As I say, I think it's positive. I'll just check back on my Twitter feed just to see if there's anything interesting there that we had. I mean, obviously we're looking there at what actually, what the Fed does with their monetary policy, how it affects markets, etc., where we are in relation to a potential recession. And we've looked at various signs there saying that recession is likely to come. All positive news there about where we're expecting the markets to go. These are the expectations for the Fed interest rate decision. And as I said, we've looked at those interest rate decisions. This, by the way, is just the result of scalping. Small profits, but you can do multiple scalps, especially when you're ahead of news, as we had yesterday. Nothing much is going to happen, so you can scalp, and we mentioned that briefly yesterday. So that's pretty much a wrap for today. Again, I hope it's been helpful. Hope some of these trading tips help you out with your trading. Trading can be really exciting, can be really profitable. Just a few simple rules. Obviously, avoid fear and greed. Avoid gambling, make sure you diversify, make sure you're only trading with money you can afford to lose, especially when you're trading with the likes of cryptocurrency. But use your risk and reward very carefully, because if you get your risk reward right and use a few solid indicators, as we mentioned here so often, like divergences, etc., then it can become a very profitable pastime and can really support your lifestyle and way of living. So, as I say, thank you so much for listening. We've only got tomorrow before the weekend, so we'll have a catch up tomorrow. Thanks for listening again, and bye for now.
The great Matt Dixon with his market report. Tell you guys, this is world class. It is world class what we do here. And if you trade on our signals, you're making a lot of money. We're making money. You should be making money too. So if you if you want to trade, or if you have some questions, let us know, and we'll try to answer them. We try to give you some good entry points, talk about why we do the things that we do. And if you just follow those signals over since December, you've done very, very well. And that's we want that to continue. So one of the things, I talked about a little bit earlier is, of course, with this with the monetary policy, unfortunately, it does end up normally, with it favors the wealthy, because the wealthy are the ones who have the assets, right? So you may or may not be. I mean, a lot of you guys, I guess, probably watching my show, maybe already trading or whatnot. But obviously, if you have a house, if you have different assets, if you have gold, if you have crypto, things are going up. You're getting more money. If you're not, then your dollars are becoming worth less. They're becoming worth less because the money is getting diluted. So pretty interesting stuff. I did also want to touch on this the Lebanon blast. I have stayed away from a bit from the story, but it is something. It is news, and it could affect, if war increases over in the Middle East. If it gets more heated over there, then that will affect the markets. That does affect the markets. So, as Matt said, everything is looking great here. We have a very nice trajectory where we're going. There's a few things that could change that. One of them, of course, is a heated up battle in the Middle East. We all saw what happened there with the blowing up of the pagers and everything else. I do try to stay away from it because it's a very emotional thing for people. But I feel like nobody knew where those people were when they blew them up. I mean, the guy could have been holding his kid or his newborn or his wife or something like that. Seems to me pretty ridiculous way to, quote unquote, targeted. But anyway, I think my views on it are pretty well known. You have the new suburb, the new things being built. You have to push the people out of their homes, and I think that here's the thing: they're all human, and that's one group tries to say the other group's subhuman, the other group tries to say the other group's subhuman. They're all human. They're all human, guys, and we need to learn to work with each other. And we should pray for all of them, and pray that there can be peace, that there can be peace over there. So anyway, that's that. I hope it doesn't blow up from there. I'm sure that there will be new ways that they are communicating. One of the things that Global Boost does, of course, is, and I'm not offering my services, to these guys, either side, to be honest. But we have several different ways to communicate that are decentralized. One of them, actually, if you go to Booster, BOOSTR.live, booster.live, and you will see we have a decentralized communication. Here, I'll show you. I'll share my screen again. So this is Booster Live. It is one of the things that we have right here. And you can, make yourself a random room here. You join the room. This is not an app, okay? It's not an app. You don't have to download anything on your phone, and it is randomized, and it is about as safe as communications as you can be. And that's Booster, BOOSTR.live, Booster.live. It's there. Anybody can use it. It's about as safe as communication as you can have right now. Okay. And it works pretty much everywhere. It's just web. Like I say, you don't have to download anything. Signal is probably a construct of the CIA or the NSA in order to get everybody's information, a big honeypot for everybody thinking that they were doing secure communications. Basically, any app on the App Store is going to have a backdoor. I just don't see anything. That's why I thought it was interesting that they really went after, one of the reasons I thought it was interesting, they really went after Pavel Durov, because I can't imagine that Telegram doesn't have a backdoor if it's on the App Store. I firmly believe that everything on the App Store has a backdoor. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on the App Store. That's the way it works. The cartel believes that you do not deserve. Deserve is a funny word, I guess. The cartel, the central banking cartel, believes that rules the world right now, doesn't believe that you should have privacy. You should be allowed to have private communications without them being able to see it. And that's just not just their belief. I mean, it's horrible. We have to fight against it. We have to stop it. But that is their stance. You're not allowed to have private communications without them having the ability to look at it and to tap into it and to make sure that you aren't doing something bad. So it's very intrusive, and it's something that we need to push against for sure. I talk about the central banking cartel a lot because it's important that people understand what in the world is going on. It's important that they understand that there is a cartel that's running the world right now, because most people still don't get it. They still don't get it. And I've talked about it around the world. One of those places that, of course, we go to is Consensus. Now, Consensus is coming up in Hong Kong. Here we go. Consensus Hong Kong 2025. You can use code Bruce15 for a 15% discount. I'll tell you what I'll do here. Let me just. Now, you can use this direct link. I will post the direct link. It is on YouTube already, and Rumble, if you're watching there, that does have the direct link. You can just click it from there. Let me just add this here. Now, this is going to be a very important event. Of course, Hong Kong is just hot. Here we go. I'll change that. There we go. And if you do want to go to that link, you can go to that link. Hong Kong is a wonderful place. Hong Kong 20 Consensus Hong Kong. Bruce 15 to get a 15% discount. February 18 through 20, 2025. This is going to be the biggest event so far that year. Hong Kong is going to be absolutely crazy. What is Consensus? Since 2015, Consensus has been the world's largest, most influential gathering of digital assets, blockchain, and Web3 communities. Consensus now heads to Hong Kong, bringing together industry's most important voices from East and West to pivotal conversations and deal-making opportunities. Consensus Hong Kong convenes global leaders in tech and finance to debate pressing issues, announce key developments and deals, and share their visions for the future. Consensus is produced by the award-winning media outlet CoinDesk and is guided by its commitment to independent, unbiased journalism. Consensus sets the agenda for the next big wave of innovations and deal-making in the crypto and Web3 space. We are a proud partner for this. Use code Bruce15. Get yourself a 15% discount on Consensus today. Get your tickets before the price goes up. The price will increase. That's how they always do it. They do an increase in price. So let's just look at the prices right now. So right now, you can get a Pro Pass for $4.99 plus, I think you get a 15% discount on that. So right now, you're saving $800 plus 15%. So you're going to save quite a bit. On the startup package, same thing, $4.99 right now. That's going to be $12.99, okay? And it's going to be, I think, a bit lower when you use my 15% pass. The Piranha Pass is $4.99.99. I don't think that they added my discount to this yet, but if you talk to me before you buy it, I can probably get them to add it. I did last time, but when I looked this time, I don't think it was working. But Consensus, of course, Trump spoke at Consensus. We all know that. Trump was at Consensus in Austin. It is a really, really great event. We also have Money 2020 coming up. Money 2020. Money 2020 Las Vegas. This is October 27. Let me share my screen again. Now for this one, your discount code is GLOB. Hold on. Money. There we go. There we go. Discount code is GLOB or Globe without an E 250. You get a $250 discount on that. Money 2020. This is in Las Vegas. It's going to be a great event. Money 2020 always does an amazing event. This is big time stuff here. Welcome to the future of money now. Money 2020 is the world's leading premium content, sales, and networking platform for the global money ecosystem. From in-depth analysis to inspirational speakers, our world-class insights and networking opportunities help the customers stay ahead, powering strategies and relationships and switching mindsets. Money 2020 promises the clearest and most distinctive focus on what's next across the world of payments, fintech, and financial services. Be part of the global movement. So make sure to use your code GOLB250 in order to get your discount. $250 discount on tickets. That's going to be a lot of fun. Las Vegas, October 27 through 30. I am planning to be there. I have become a regular at this event. Now, of course, I have a lot of places to go, and October, full disclosure. Now, we have, starting actually today, we have starting today, we have UN Blockchain Week. UN Blockchain Week up in New York City. You can go to unblockchainweek.com and register. unblockchainweek.com. And this is a series of events that are happening around the UN General Assembly, which is happening right now in New York City. Okay. We've put it together. We have an events list right here. Okay. So you can click on that events page and you can see, there we go, the different events. So today we have meetup. We have investing for impact dinner, and you can register right in here. You have the coin-based silent payments event. We have one more here. New York City Chief of Staff Mixer. So loose events, loosely correlated events in tech, in blockchain, and fintech that are happening around the UN General Assembly, UN Blockchain Week. Make sure to check them out. unblockchainweek.com. You can click the you can go ahead and click the register button, and that will take you to a Luma page, and you can register right here. Good times in New York. I will see you there. Now, as well, I wanted to talk about my good friends over at Dalgo and Polka Gold. Dalgo up with a nice move today, over 8%. Of course, following the market here. Nice move that we have going on here. Dalgo, of course, is backed by Polka Gold. Let's take a peek at Polka Gold. I have not looked at these yet today, so you're seeing them as I see them. Up 7%. Nice move on the Polka Gold. Polka Gold, what Polka Gold did was they backed their, and you guys were anonymous actually started it, and they backed the currency with Algorand. So their liquidity pools are full of Algorand, and it's locked. It's there forever. Okay. And so it really does have a bottom. I like for you to have a way in and a way out on these things. A comfortable way in and a comfortable way out. So there you have the Polka Gold and the Dalgo. Dalgo is their fun meme coin. What they did was they put over 10% of the supply of Polka Gold, they locked in the liquidity pools of Dalgo. So these two are tied together. And I think this thing, I mean, it has been moving. It moves quick. It moves fast. And you know, these meme coins, they can really move. They can really move. So if you look at it right now, I might have misspelled that. Let me just see here. Google. Here we go. Vestige. So if you look at their liquidity and everything here, of course, here you have Polka Gold right here. Now, Dalgo is going to be on, I think, the third page as we're looking here. There is Dalgo. I don't know where they get this. I think this number, I'm not sure where they get this number. Obviously, that's not correct. But if you look right here, we have a $183,000 market cap, and we have $30,000 in Algorand and $240,000 in P Gold liquidity. So almost, over $270,000 in liquidity and a market cap for 183. So this thing is really set up to rocket. Okay, really set up to rocket. I'm a big whale. I'm a big proponent. I think that it's great. It's a great coin. These are great coins, great platforms, and they're really going to do well. Now, there's another one, of course, that I also am a big fan of. It's on the TON. It's on the TON network. Okay, and that's Dog or Flower. Dog or Flower trades under OR. Okay, and this one actually went up about 100% recently over the last little bit, and we have been having a lot of fun with this. Dog or Flower, dogorflower.io, dogorflower.io. This thing can also move very, very quickly. It's a meme coin. It's a setup, and when and if TON really takes off, which it is taking off. So as it really takes off and this ecosystem explodes, tokens that are built on it, like Dog or Flower, is a very memeable token, really have the capacity to just go into the stratosphere. Anyway, great show today, guys. Love doing it. I'll be back on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana in about 5 hours. Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.